understand that? The panther's like a leopard, except it hasn't been peppered. That should just set the stage for what's about to happen. This next one is called The Cow, and the poetry is, the cow is of the bovine ilk. One end is moo, the other milk. Bravo basis. Your voices will change eventually, I promise. I'm a bass, I can kid them like that. So the third one that we'll do is Firefly, right? Firefly. So the poetry is, the firefly's flame is something for which science has no name. I can think of nothing eerier than flying around with an unidentified glow on a person's posterior. And one more, which is going to feature a solo. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. We had auditions this afternoon for the solo. This is The Kangaroo. Oh kangaroo, be grateful that you're in the zoo and not transmuted by a boomerang into zestful, tangy kangaroo meringue. Okay, good. So the last piece we'll do for you is the piece that we did in the first half with the band, the one that was an instrumental version, a piece called Sleep. Sleep began its life as a different poem. Back in the year 2000, I was commissioned by a woman from Austin, Texas, to write a piece in memory of her parents who had died after more than 50 years of marriage. They both died within just weeks of each other. And she wanted me to set the family's favorite poem, the Robert Frost iconic poem, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Many of you may know it. It ends with, "And miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep." And I did my best with it. I worked months on what is really just a 5-minute piece, and tried to pour my heart and my soul into it, and went down to Texas, and we did the premiere, and I think think it was very cathartic for the family. I know it was for myself. And afterwards, we went to put it into the publication process, and the part of the publication process is you send off to the Robert Frost estate and say, we just need you to sign off on this, give us permission to reprint the poetry, and they wrote back and said, no. And I wrote and said, all we're trying to do is elevate Robert Frost's poetry, and we may even introduce it to some younger audiences who had never heard it before, and they wrote back and said, no, and if we find out that you've performed it publicly, we will sue you and the choir. So I thought I had another trunk song, like the Seal Lullaby, this piece that I would just stick under the bed and then would bring back out when it became public domain in the year 2038. And I got the idea to call Charles Anthony Silvestri, Tony, this guy, my best friend who I keep talking about, and I said, okay, Tony, here's what I need. I need a poem with the exact metrical structure as the Robert Frost. And there's all these places in the music where I've painted his words musically. I need you to find different words that still paint the same idea. And the whole thing has to end up in this meditation, the word sleep, over and over. That part can't change. Go. So this was about Friday night, like 8 o'clock, I called him, and he called me Saturday morning and said, I think I've got it. And what had happened, he had been up all night with his son, who at the time was 3, maybe even 2, Thomas, and his son just wouldn't go to sleep. He wouldn't drink water. He was doing the thing where if his toes are sticking out of the covers, then a monster can get him, you know, all of that stuff. And it caused Tony to start to think about the world of sleep to a child. You know, now that we're older, we take it for granted, but when you're a kid, you close your eyes and you're not entirely sure all this is going to be here when you wake up. And dreaming, is it real, is it not? It's a very strange and big world, this world of sleep. And so Tony wrote about that, and suddenly it had this depth. My music had this depth that it didn't have before with the old poem. And I think you'll agree, Tony's poem is much better than that stupid Robert Frost poem. So we'll perform that for you. This will be the last thing on the program tonight. Before we end, I would be remiss if I did not say I've had just the time of my life in these past 2 days at Georgia State, working with all of these ensembles, the incredible teachers, the professors here, how many of us are there? Almost 800 high school students from around here. I've just fallen in love with the school, with the city, with the South. I went to Mary Mac's last night. I'm still trying to digest. Yeah, it'll be weeks from now. I'll be remembering Atlanta, if you know what I mean. Hush puppies for the win. But really, thank you so much for having me. I truly can't wait to come back. Thank you.